Okay, these are the instructions to assemble a 54-inch or 60-inch round top. We're going to walk you through the process of putting this together. The first thing you want to do after unpacking the top is to make sure that you have a clean, soft work area to lay the top on. You want to make sure there's no dirt or debris underneath that could scratch or damage the top. Once you've laid the top upside down on your clean, padded surface, the first thing you'll want to do is to clean out the holes and the slots to get rid of the vinyl. Cut that out. You'll need a knife or utility knife just to cut the holes open. Once you've done that, you'll insert the 4 biscuits that are in the shape of a football. They just go in, you just tap them in gently with a hammer. If you happen to break one, it's okay. They don't need to be full size. The purpose of those is to center the tops, keep them level. The next thing you'll do is to insert the tight joint fasteners. Dave, there's 2 parts. The one part with the ball in can be put in either hole. It doesn't matter, on the right or the left side. Once you've done that, you'll insert the bolt into the hole. It's threaded in. You want to turn it in until you have about 1.25 inches to 1 1/8 inches sticking out. At that point, you'll then line up the holes, and before you do, you'll put all 5 tight clamp fasteners in, then line up the holes. Once you've inserted the bolt into the hole, you have to jiggle it a little bit. You'll take the other piece of hardware that has the U shape to it, and that will go in the direction of the other piece of hardware. It slides over top of the bolt, and that locks that bolt in place. It keeps it from turning. Once you've done that, you can take a screw or a nail, and a small Allen wrench works fine. Insert it into the holes in the ball, and just turn it, which is tightening the bolt, and that will lock the 2 halves of the top together. You'll do all 5 bolts, and at that point the top should be secure. The next step then is to go to the pedestal, and you'll take the batten that's provided. You'll put the batten onto the leg bolts, and then you'll tighten that down with the washers and the nuts provided. A 1/2 inch ratchet works well for this. If you don't have that, just a regular wrench will work. You'll tighten that down. At that point, the pedestal is ready to be attached to the top, and the next step then is to match up the pedestal with the batten on top. We'll run it across, perpendicular to the joint in the top, so that you have support. We mark the pedestal. We mark the batten. The batten is marked with a number which corresponds to the top. We also outline the batten so you know where it's placed. Then we have 2 smaller battens on the ends for support. Again, they're outlined so you know where they go, and they're also marked. We mark them 1A, B, and C. At that point, you'll use the number 8 by 1 1/4 inch screws that are provided, and with being very careful not to over tighten. If you use a screwdriver that's too powerful, if you have the torque set too high, you can run the screw possibly too deep into the batten, and it might protrude out your top. So be very careful that you dial your torque down. It should just tighten up until it is tight. You may even want to consider just running it down and then using a screwdriver by hand and tightening that for the last turn or so. It's not necessary to pre-drill the tops. The screwdriver will run them in by themselves. Also be careful that you don't strip the screw. So again, be careful with the amount of torque that you have. Once you have all of the battens screwed fast to the top. At that point, it's ready to be turned over. I will point out that we do have levelers on the top, on the feet. So if your floor is uneven, you can level the table. At this point, it would probably take two guys. You'll want to lift it supporting both halves of the table, and you can turn it over. There's a protective covering on it, and that you can just peel off, and at that point your table should be good to go. If you have a little bit of dirt or something, you can use some warm soap and water with a soft cloth to clean it off, and that should be the final thing you need to do.